What do you think are the mistakes that parents often make when it comes to helping their children or supporting their children in making career choices?
Engineering is not the end of the world. Engineering is great, medicine is great, but not God. This is something every parent has to instill in their mind. Design is a career that was not even looked up to 15 years back.
Right.
Today, IIT Mumbai has design with it. Science student can take up design. Design is science too.
To me, my commonsensical question is, why should I waste time doing this if I know I'm not going to do this?
Children are much more informed than parents are with the exposure they have today. The founder of Zoho was telling, what if AI really takes over multiple jobs? What will happen? Probably we need more comedians and entertainers for us in the future. Every single thing is going to be taken care by AI today. What do we need? There is automobile engineering, automobile design, automobile journalism, automobile production, automobile sales, automobile what? So your prefix is always interest, your suffix is always aptitude. But in India, we don't change the aptitude part of it. Whatever is your interest, we put it as prefix, and engineering is tied, locked. As a teacher, I would say that would be a kind request, career guidance mandatory for rural India as well. Question that we need to place to a child: would you like to be around sports or would you like to be in sport? But 9 out of 10 children say, I want to be in sports. Dhoni was working railway department for some time. Why?
Welcome to Yellow Slate podcast. There is a lot of confusion that prevails around making career choices, especially as children enter high school. Parents, students, schools all worry about how do we prepare children for future careers. To discuss this topic in detail, we have with us Mr. Ajay Kisshan from Academic City Bangalore, who has been leading and helping and guiding children with career choices. In today's session, we have discussed what are the common mistakes parents make when it comes to helping their children with career choices. Secondly, what are the ways in which parents or teachers can help children differentiate between what is a passing interest and a genuine interest in something? Thirdly, what can parents and schools do to help children make informed career choices? And finally, a list of career options that are available today, which is besides the conventional ones like engineering or medicine. Just so you don't miss out on any of the important information, do watch the video till the end. Thank you. Hello, Ajay. It's absolutely wonderful to have you here today at Yellow Slate podcast. And we look forward to an engaging conversation today about an issue that affects a lot of parents and children, which is career choices. One of the studies when I was digging up, I found out that only 31% of children actually feel that schools are helping them in making informed career choices. However, what do you think are the mistakes that parents often make when it comes to helping their children or supporting their children in making career choices?
In fact, the child spends only 4 to 8 years in a university or a college.
Yeah.
But 15 years of time ends up going into a school. And we are the deeper observers. And they say, right, I've seen you from childhood, right? So the schools see children from childhood, not the universities. The schools actually grow children from childhood. So 15 years of time when a child ends up spending in a school. And sometimes when children say, I don't really know what to do after 15 years, that is really a saddening part. While I understand how schools function, how busy it is, how scheduled it is, I think this is an additional responsibility the schools also should pick up. So parents are additional data givers, or I can say they can speak about their own children because they grew them to the school. Maybe that can be data inputs. But the decision making comes 3 parties in this. It's like a triangle. Right. So there's a school, there are parents and children. So parents definitely play an important role, but not the only important role. The school has a deeper role in helping a child choose a career choices, according to me.
Right.
That's what we have observed as well.
Right. Yeah. But what do you think the parents do wrong when it comes to helping their children?
Right. One set of parents think, I couldn't be a doctor, let my child become, right? So I couldn't be
projecting their aspirations.
Their aspirations.
Yeah.
And when I dig deeper, there are a lot of conversation I used to have with parents behind the screen, post-career counseling. Really ask them, what's making you ask your child become an engineer, doctor, lawyer, whatever it is. Answers have come, Ajay, just between us. I always wanted to be a lawyer. I always wanted to be a maybe I got married very early, otherwise I would have been a doctor today.
Right.
So while I deeply understand that part of the emotion, but the child has his or her emotions as well, and the child should also not fall back. So one is wanting to pass on the historic personal aspiration to the child is one. Second is the discussion that goes amongst the mother and father at their workplace, within their families. It's a pride factor, right? Unless and until the child becomes a doctor or an engineer, they are not proud enough. Right?
It's like we are a family of doctors. We are a family of
engineers. Even if the parents don't come from the medicine or science background or engineering background, but that pressure is there. It's seen like the Sharma ji next door is going to tell you that you didn't do it right because your child is not doing engineering or medicine. Probably he's not going to have the best of his life. And so to ensure this societal pressure or society upliftment of the family is really put up there, this also happens that they put a lot of pressure to ensure the society is happy. That is second part. Third, they feel the decisions can be taken later. You do whatever is possible today. Let's see when university comes, or when you select your right college, or when you select your right subject. We'll see it later.
Like delaying
the process.
Decision.
These three aspects I see as core important aspects what parents should keep in mind while they are really choosing. This is going to affect the child mentally, academically, future-wise, in terms of choosing a career and all ways. So parents got to be really serious about these three things.
As a parent, how do I know that this is a passing fancy, passing phase, or it's a genuine interest? Like I really want my life to be now revolving around music or dance or YouTubing or a blogger. Now, how do we tell the difference?
Beautiful question, very deep question. How are you going to differentiate passion versus your career? Can passion become a career? What are the situations that should actually make your passion your career, or passion should be a passion, career should be something else? So how do we look at things like this, right? So in an Indian scenario, we all understand a family becomes better through careers. This betterment, what I mean is definitely your social well-being, economical well-being, and both of them, right? You have to be personally happy as a person. At the same time, your financial strength also should improve or become better through careers. So there's an important question that we need to really ask. The passion that you withhold, will it really suffice both your social and economical needs as well? Sometimes it is important you can have an evening career. I'm a very good cook. I love to cook. But can I become a chef? Is a question. I respect the profession. I can become I can go to hotel management. I can do culinary arts. I can go to Taj and become a
top-notch chef.
Chef. That's a possibility. I have guided my students that way. But probably how much of that can you do is a question. Why engineering and medicine, on the other hand, is so popular is the opportunities that a software company could give you or a corporate could give you is pretty high. If 100 children are there, probably 30, 35, 40 can get placed even in a smaller job. So the placement or the opportunity to get placed is a little higher in engineering and medicine, and hence it's very natural for people to go behind that, number one. So it's a very important question. The passion that you hold, are you really passionate about it, is a question. If you're really passionate about it, what about the opportunity behind it, right? If the opportunity is really open, there's something you can definitely do about it. Please go ahead and do it. Who stopped you? If your passion is science, I love to read science. Science is all my life. I go read beyond my academic books. I go and read beyond my textbooks. Science is what I keep thinking of. Then of course, doing a career in research or getting into engineering makes a lot of sense. Go ahead and do. You're lucky. The opportunity in the future and the science that you love for is going well. I'm really interested in dance. I'm a good artist. What should I do? If you've already, right from your school time, really won awards, you're already out of the box, the country knows you, you're already popular in dance, right? Film industry is ready to give you some chances. You can be a choreographer in the best of the best place. You'll be able to make money out of it. Socially be happy. Make some economical sense. Then go ahead and do it. But for those who have not yet achieved it until 15 years of age, you can convert that to be an evening career, weekend career, so that something that's close to your heart can't be really cut. But do not forget the economical aspect of it, because when you're 30, when you're crossing 25s and 30s and 35s, if you're economically not in place, that can also cause a lot of juggling in your mind, and your happiness quotient can also become a question mark. So for now, first question, what is my passion? The passion that I hold and the career opportunities in the future are really matching, go ahead. If the passions that you hold, but the career opportunities connected to those passion is not really aligning, then you can convert it to an evening career, weekend career. Don't give that up, but ensure you pick something that can also keep your economical well-being great. But
Right.
still, you can scientifically identify what can you be good at apart from the things that you're passionate about, and you can take a call from there.
Right. Is engineering the only way out of science stream, or is there something else that I can do? Probably you could respond to this one first, and then I'll, there is a follow-up about, can we not have multiple
Options.
multiple careers? Or is it like I am 9 to 5, 9 to 6, I'm only engaged with this? How do we navigate this area, which is really very gray right now?
So true. Very deep questions, actually. Right? So now India today has about 21 different career clusters. There are 600 plus career options to choose from. So I'll put it this way. Back in the year 2000, India hardly had 60 prominent career to choose from.
Right.
Where in 2025 today, India has more than 600 plus career choices to choose from. 2035, expect India to have more than 1,300, 1,400 options to choose
Imagine
from.
that.
Which one are you going to choose, and on what basis are you going to choose has been $1 million question.
Right.
Now, parents choose engineering and medicine as default because the neighbors or your cousins or your everybody choosing it, and they feel it as a default, they do.
Yeah.
But the real question goes behind it. How do you scientifically identify a child as good or not? What do you mean by scientific here is the word scientific, I mean, how can you put as much as logics possible to it so that you can find the right career? So we simply have to keep 4 things in mind while you choose a career.
Yeah.
The first one is aptitude, like you said. Second is personality. Third one is interest. Fourth one is opportunity. Let's take one after the other. Aptitude is about, if I have to put in a layman's term, what is aptitude? What is something difficult for many people, but that is easy for me? What is that it takes 10 minutes for somebody to do, I can do it in 2 minutes. What it takes somebody to do it in really hard way, but I can easily, smartly handle that particular thing. I will simply call it your aptitude.
Right. Basically, the inclination to do something.
Inclination to do
is interest.
Through your knowledge and skill. Not through your interest.
Yeah,
That is the third part.
Yeah,
The first part, I am able to solve that problem faster, smarter, sooner, better. What is that? Right? That is aptitude. So aptitude, we can say I'm great in aptitude when it comes to mathematics or communication or reasoning or something like that, right? Then all of this is called aptitude. The second one is personality. How do you respond to life? So whenever a life puts a challenge at you, how do you see it? How do you respond to it? How do you put it in place? Are you an introvert or an extrovert? What is your learning orientation? Are you open to learn new things? When failure comes to you, how do you face it? Are you somebody who really falls down after a failure, or you get up and say that, do you have a phoenix character? So that's your personality area. Because certain careers demand certain kinds of personality as well. Right? The third one is interest. There is a different, here I will connect that passion as well, the passion thing as well. What is interest? Even when something is difficult for you to do, you want to do it.
Right.
Okay? So in sometimes when you talk about hobbies, I'm going to a dance class, I've been learning dance. I went second stage, third stage, fourth stage, but enough. It's too tough. I'm happy with what I've learned. I will keep practicing. It's a good entertainment for me. This is a hobby. But I feel interest is one step further. Even if it is difficult to do, I want to do.
Right.
That is interest. So that when you go to a profession, the difficult thing comes to you, you actually go one step ahead and say, I want to win it.
Right.
That is interest. The fourth one is opportunity. Something I'll be able to make money out of. So aptitude, my ability to do. Personality, how do I respond to life? Interest, what is it something, even if it is difficult to do, I want to do it. Opportunity, what is that can give me economical sense so that I can settle my financial life as well in the stability as well. Make a living out of it, right? These 4 things are supposed to be looked into. Now you ask me a question, engineering, is it the only thing? If you start putting a child into this aptitude, personality, interest assessment, it's pretty easy to say any human being will fit out to do at least 3-4 careers. Maybe in priority. Maybe you are best to be a lawyer. So the second could be political scientist. The third could be commerce, or fourth could be something. Because in your aptitude, personality, interest assessments, it's pretty easy to understand. No, it's not something like a human being is literally born to do only one thing. There may be 2, 3, 4 of your interest areas or potential areas. You can pick and choose from that. But not assessing this and directly choosing only engineering is little scary and risky.
Yeah.
But while you assess, you can choose minimum 4 to 5 careers can actually be shortlisted for any child.
Right. So that brings to me another huge problematic area. In India, at least in the school I was in, nobody even mentioned the word career to me. And I doubt if it happens today in most traditional or conventional schools. I know that international schools actually have a career guidance cell, where there is a lot of support given to children to identify what they're good at or which universities, especially when it comes to university placements. I'm not very sure how schools are actively thinking about the APO, because they are busy completing portions, finishing their syllabus, preparing children for exams, which really has got nothing to do with, to be very honest, I have not shown a single certificate to anybody to date.
Okay.
So how can schools be equipped, or what should schools do to upgrade themselves or enhance their own programs to help children? And you're absolutely right, they're there 15 years. So what do you think schools should do?
The first thing the school should do is intentionally, very consciously accept that they are responsible to guide a child towards the right career choice. Step one is that. The frameworks, how much time you're going to give, how can I schedule it, all comes later.
Right.
Do you have the will and the wish to really help the child go through this phase? First step is intention. The second step is planning. Now, when I used to have discussions with teachers, a lot of discussion with teachers, I used to tell them, okay, you're a physics teacher, right? You're teaching physics. You're teaching Newton's third law. How can you, in your lesson planning, simply introduce careers in spaceship or careers in astronomy as one liner in your entire class? Is that a possibility to include it for 25-30 seconds? You teach Newton's third law and you go back, you give homeworks, classworks, ensure the child is able to do well. You're also giving a prototype model to make something. Prove all of that is great. STEM and everything is fine.
Right.
Can we add one more thing to it? Yeah. Okay. When you learn Newton's third law, who uses Newton's third law in space? Can you tell how can a space engineer, how is a space engineer using Newton's third law while he's making a spaceship? Now the child is saying, what is the space engineer? What does he do? You're creating a curiosity in mind. Right. So in your lesson plan, can you bring in very minute, choto-moto things to bring inside your thing? Where one liner mention about a couple of career options that is related to that particular topic.
Right.
What are you doing out of this? You're simply making a child think, the child, ma'am, what does a space engineer do? It becomes an opportunity for a question answer.
Right.
Now the exposure happens. This is how can you bring in career orientation within the class? Now, career cell, great. If you are a school really passionate about career counseling, let's have a cell, let's have a framework, all of that. But can we do at least this much? Simple things can you bring in? Make a child think, what is ma'am talking about? What is sir talking about? He mentioned a profession. What the profession is? Okay, what does he do? He goes back home and searches about it. You have instigated a thought in a child's mind is a good success.
So one of the things that our audience, probably who are large percentage of them are parents, what do you think they should do to help their children make informed, or help their children even discover what they're good at? Or forget careers, their careers come later in life. But how should they work with the children in their early formative years, and then what should they do when they're teenagers and getting closer and closer to coming out of school and facing the world or workplaces?
I get that question. In the very beginning of this conversation, we told, right, I was speaking about, think of career selection, the people who are the part of career section like a triangle. On one corner is the school, one corner is the child, him or herself, and one corner is the parent. When you come together, the actual career selection happens. So now we also spoke about, as a school, what you can do for your child. But now let's talk about what a parent should be doing for a child, right? The first thing a parent should be able to understand is, understand your child irrespective of the career dynamics that are happening today. Whatever happened in the world, keep that aside for a while and simply observe your child in depth. Either it is a school or it is a parent, APIO is the framework. Your attitude, personality, interest and opportunity, you need to look into every student.
Right.
Number 2, do not ask your children to make them proud just because they are, the children are born for them and not because of them, not born for them. There's a different born because of them, not born for them. I'm not trying to be harsh by saying this. I'm just trying to trigger your thoughts to think this way.
I think it's
Right.
very practical.
Very practical approach
Yeah.
in today's time as well. Now, should I tell something? Children are much more informed than parents are
They do.
with the exposure they have today. But sometimes there is a possibility the exposure that they have are misguided because somebody told something on the internet, and that possibility is there. I don't say no. So first, have an open conversation.
Right.
The conversation should be very fluent, should be very respectful to each other. Sit across a dining table, have a couple of dinners talking about career choices with absolute pleasantness. Okay, let the difference in opinion come out. The first thing that the parent should understand is my child may be different in the career choices and opinion than I do.
Yeah.
A child should understand, Mama, Papa is trying to tell me, could be because of my good. I can't really judge upon them immediately. So this maturity between the father, mother and the child should be highly there. Sometimes I see the child and the mother is together and the father is on the other side. It is not just parents and the child.
Those dynamics
Yeah,
are always
those dynamics are there.
present in a family.
Correct.
Yeah.
So the first one is understand your child fully. Second is have an open conversation about what he or she is wanting to do in the future. Third, ensure you implement the APIO framework before you pick any career choice. Fourth, take a very slow decision. Now, in this decision-making process, we were also touching upon postponing the decision in the past, right?
Right.
So now let's understand one thing. Up to grade 10, take a regular CBSE. Up to grade 10, every child undergoes
all the subjects.
All the subjects. What happens after that? We choose art, science, commerce. We choose humanities, commerce or science.
Yeah.
Go 20 years back. What did our state board, even today, 11th and 12th in Karnataka, we call it as PU. Why do we call it PU? What does PU mean? PU means pre-university. Why do we call it pre-university? We call it pre-university because you're coining my own name, preliminary to university. Yeah. Whatever you're going to study in your university, you're going to lay a foundation in 11th and 12th.
Yeah, but
isn't it very clear?
Yeah.
Now, government is very clear about it. They are not bad in what they are. In fact, they are precise in what
intention is
correct.
Yeah.
Up to 10th, everybody get exposed to all the subjects. 11th and 12th in pre-university, you freeze on the subjects you want to master, the foundation. And so that when you go to the university, you're continuing to study what you learned in your PU further. You do physics, chemistry, mathematics. You being an engineer, you do physics, biology. You get into biotechnology, or you be a doctor. You do commerce, economics, finance. You try to you're getting into business administration or commerce. There is a logic behind this.
Right.
So first of all, parents, what they should not be doing is you complete your 12th standard. Later, we will decide is the first thing that we need to come out of. It's a mistake. It's a 10th grade that you need to take a call on. There is a logic behind why in 11th you choose art, science or commerce. There's a practical need to stop, think and evaluate and execute.
Right.
Then why in 11th and 12th? Eligibility criteria wise, you take up science, you'll be able to do anything. Eligibility criteria wise, right? I take up science, I can do commerce also. I can take up law. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
You're allowed to. I can do physics, chemistry, mathematics in my 11th and 12th. I can still take law after science.
Okay.
I can still do commerce. Eligibility criteria wise, parents feel, yeah, you take science, eligibility criteria wise, you'll be able to apply for anything. Let's go ahead and apply. Why do we have to take a decision now? But the child is losing out to learn the basics of what they're supposed to do in university in 11th and 12th. Right. So do not postpone after 10th.
Right.
Grade 9th is when you need to start having a conversation with the child. Help them explore. You have best friends from different professions. Allow them to speak to as many people as they can. You have a great neighborhood. Let your children talk to different professions, people from different walks of life.
Yeah.
Let them know what's happening. They should start in grade 9 and 10. I'm telling them to explore. Right?
Right. Say, for example, now for children to come to that point where, or parents to come to that point where in 11 and 12, I need to decide which stream to take up so that it defines my career later. So there are two things. One is, so when should the exposure happen to various careers? At what age group do you think that should happen? So that they know, both the parents and children know that I am very inclined to just do arts because I want to do humanities or I want to do my master's, whatever it is that they want to do. When should it begin then?
This is also a nice question. So where to begin and where to end, right? This, I will give you another framework that we have devised. One, we call the framework as LEAP. LEAP.
Okay.
L stands for learn, E stands for explore, A stands for assess and P stands for prepare.
Okay.
L stands for learn. While you do the learning, here what do I mean by learn? All the students of grade 6 to 12 should at least know what's happening in the world. I'm not asking you to choose a career. Don't fix onto it. What are the nuances of choosing a career?
Absolutely.
What are the do's and don'ts about picking a career or not?
Yeah.
Know basics of statistics. And if school can also support, like I told you, introduce different career options along in your lesson plan when the teacher is teaching for all the students. So students of grade 6 to 12, everybody learns the nuances of choosing a career.
Right.
This is L.
Right.
Second one is explore. Especially again, only for the students of grade 6, 7 and 8.
Correct.
Only for the students of grade 6, 7 and 8. Explore all the 21 different career clusters available in the world today. Agriculture and food sciences.
Right.
Medical sciences, allied paramedical sciences, engineering and technology, architecture and planning, art and design, government and defense, law. There are 21 different career clusters. So students of grade 6, 7 and 8 should get explored to these various career choices available. Don't choose. I'm not asking you to choose. I'm asking you to know. As much as you're asking your child to read a newspaper.
Yeah.
This is 6th, 7th and 8th standard.
It's like a menu.
It's a menu.
I'm introducing you.
Introducing
you
it.
can decide
Don't think of anything. Don't choose anything. Don't fix on to anything. Know what is there.
Yeah.
Just gain knowledge.
Yeah.
That knowledge gaining should also be fun. It shouldn't be a strict thing. Today you're supposed to read all this architecture and plan. No.
Yeah.
Know what is there. Do some Google about it. Chat GPT about it. Know what is it. So that's explore. 6, 7 and 8 standard or grades. Now when the child is going to grade 9 and 10, assess. Now because in grade 6 to 12, everybody is getting to know what's happening in the world of career.
Yeah.
Grade 6, 7 and 8, you're exploring this 21 different career choices and you're aware of it. During grade 9 and 10, probably you can pick up a psychometric test.
Yeah, like the APIO. Like
your aptitude, personality, interest can be assessed, right? And from when you do the assessment, from the 21 career clusters you just explored during 6, 7 and 8, you will be able to shortlist 5 or 6 careers that are more suitable for you.
Correct.
During grade 9 and 10. We call it assess. Now, after completing grade 10, when the child is going to grade 11 and 12, prepare. Right? I decided I want to be a designer. I think I'm so confident about my creativity. Could be I'm a great artist. At the same time, I can solve problems in no time. I'm very comfortable about it. Then you can start thinking of learn about NID, learn about NEFT, learn about IIT also has a design department called IDC. I'm extremely good in arguments. I'm so good with reading. I can read books in no time. I can memorize things so well. I'm pretty good at whatever I'm doing. I'm really a people person. I like to help people. If you want to consider law, in 11th and 12th, you can choose commerce or humanities. You can take political science, history as one of your core subjects. And even we have law as a subject in CBSE. I think there is legal studies as an option in CBSE today, which you can consider and do and start preparing for CLAT or start thinking of law entrance exams. Start what is NLSU? What do people do there? You can start preparing for it. So the framework for parents is learn, explore in grade 6, 7 and 8, assess in grade 9 and 10, prepare in grade 11 and 12. So this could be a very simple framework. You can have, as a family, you can sit down, take some sketch pens together as a team, draw a leap on your thing, make some interesting schedule for yourself, and put it on your dining wall. So every day when you go this side, that side you see and you keep talking about. So when you do this right from grade 6, there's a very smooth conversation at home. We're all aware of what is supposed to happen and do things. After you prepare, one last thing. While you are preparing, ensure you're preparing towards things that has opportunity, which we connected in the beginning, right? That's always better so that your financial health in the future is also going to be taken care of.
Through this discussion, I've been hearing very regular professions, being spoken of: engineering, science stream, law. What are the other specializations there are among this? Is there anything that is very related to the visual and performing arts? Is there something that is not falling into this bracket? What are those careers?
See, there are a lot of, I would say, I would need a little more observation for the next couple of years after the introduction of AI, the way it is demanding everybody to learn AI and all of that. See, the world of arts, science and commerce will exist for rest of our lives. The new professions may come and a certain old professions few may vanish, few may get lesser importance or whatever. Why? Fundamentally what? The world needs to function.
Right.
Humanities. The world functions out of businesses, commerce, and the businesses function because of technology, science.
Right.
So this can't be separated.
Yeah.
Art, science, commerce are the only three things, and it will ever be. But within art, science, and commerces, new fields will emerge. You take up engineering, energy is going to be one of
climate
field.
change
Climate
and energy is going
change.
to be a big future career.
Big future career, right? That's one thing. Innovation, World Economic Forum stated creativity as a third important skill set, which we were not respecting in the past. So innovation, at least for a country like India, anything related to innovation is going to be a big thing because we are really hungry for a lot of patents. I'm saying innovation in all spectrum. Could be as simple as a product, or it could be technological invention, or it could be biological invention. So anywhere invention is going to take a place, there is a huge opportunity open for it, right? So energy is one, innovation is one, design is really picking up in a big way. Okay, and then inclusion of artificial intelligence in any domain. So you just can't be a lawyer. How can you use artificial intelligence in law? You need to think that way. You can't be a teacher. How can you include artificial intelligence in teaching? I just can't be a graphic designer. I'm a graphic designer, great. How can I use AI? So either be a part of creating the AI or at least drive the AI. You can't say neither. At least it should be either, right? So how can you include artificial intelligence to any profession that you own today, at least to drive it so that you can gain better results is one angle of looking at. So you must be knowing Zoho Corporation, which is a MNC. Zoho is a software company. Pretty successful. It's an Indian-based firm. It's a huge brand. It is a multi-billion-dollar company today. So the founder of Zoho was telling, what if AI really takes over multiple jobs? What will happen? I'm connecting to the question that you asked me. Probably we need more comedians and entertainers for us in the future. That took me off. I had to think about it for 2 hours, isn't it? Now, every single thing is going to be taken care by AI today. What do we need? Probably we need other aspects of life to keep yourself calm. Your psychology can be one area because of demanding time from your friends, relatives, everything. There is a happiness quotient. There's a possibility. I was also reading articles. The happiness quotient of a student, of a child or an elder or an adult is going down very drastically because of addiction of phone or internet or anything. So inclusion of psychology and technology is also in a big demand. And medicine will take a huge leap if you just don't learn medicine. Along with learning medicine, can you also learn computer science with medicine? You might have not even heard of such things before. Computer science is a different world. Medicine is a different world. Will you be able to bring in AI into medicine? How are we going to drive AI in medicine? That is option. So how is it going to be in the future is most of the popularly existing careers or professions will exist. How much of technology and AI can you bring into it and how can you learn that is going to be a huge thing. I will expect in next 7-8 years, you'll be learning computer science as basics in every profession, at least basics in every profession so that you need to use it. AI to be used in every profession. That will be one of the subjects or one of a small elective at least for people to learn. Right. So drive towards careers like these, definitely the opportunities are pretty high.
Right. For how long should children, young people do general studies and how long should they specialize? You, in a way, the 11th and 12th is kind of specializing. You're getting in and then you are actually specializing once you enter universities. There was a time I heard when Russia was USSR, we were told, or these are the stories I've heard, that the child was allowed to choose a lot of, choose between play. And if the child picked up something, then it was decided the child will grow up doing that.
Maybe the product was colorful, a child had to pick it.
I don't know. This is the story I have heard. What should parents look out for if they want to decide about, to even determine what's the personality and what's the aptitude? When should it begin?
So grade 9 and 10 is when the assess part of the framework tells us. It suggests us grade 9 and 10 because after 10th, you're supposed to choose. In 11th and 12th, you're supposed to choose a stream. So 9th and 10th or 10th at least becomes the right time for you to do. How do you assess your aptitude, personality, interest? Through psychometric assessments. It's not a new thing. Even in corporate, a HR uses psychometric assessment to understand how their employees, which employee could actually contribute to which department after some time. There also psychometric assessments are used. So we can use a smaller version of it, a miniature version of it for a child of grade 9 and 10. Right.
So could you throw light on some of these assessments? Because we all hear psychometric assessment, but what are they?
Okay.
What does it measure? And what are the other tests that probably parents should be aware of? A lot of people do not know where to go. The reason not many people, schools don't inform, of course.
Correct.
And there is not much awareness about what is available in the market for people to take these decisions or how to. So could you throw some light on these tests and assessments that you're talking about, which help in career determination?
Yeah, very much. Very popular. And today, everywhere you go to the internet, you see about assessments and all of that. There's DMIT assessment. There is psychometric assessment.
Yeah. What are they?
So the DMIT is, in India, is sometimes seen as, it's like an astrological kind of forecast. They try to take your thumb impression and they say your thumb impression and your brain has a connection. The patterns are similar.
Okay.
Science say that there's a lot of connection. It makes sense. I don't say no. Right? But if you see a formal assessment, like a regular psychometric assessment, like there are questions asked, you answer the questions, and the computer does a lot of permutations, combinations in the back end and say from multiple career options available, what can come as a top 5 option. Right? So there is factor 5 theory. Right? So psychologists know what a factor 5 theory is. It tries to understand your consciousness orientation, learning orientation. It tries to understand your behavioral patterns. Are you an introvert, not an extrovert? Okay, all of this is assessed in the personality area using factor 5 theory. Then there is RAEAC theory, where you try to understand, are they realistic, are they investigative, are they creative, are they social, are they...
So these are all tests that are carried out on the child. Administered to the child.
And we take at a final
and you get
call.
Some analysis.
Yeah. I remember 25 years back, when I was seeing one of my senior cousins, I was very young at the time. We had to go to a psychometric assessment because the father was pretty educated and very few people were doing career counseling those days. Very few. And that was so scientifically. So we had to go, the test was taken and they used to call you to come after 2 days because they need to evaluate it. Because about 350 questions are there. And psychological analysis is a little different from, it's not very objective. Right. One answer is equal to right. You need to ask the same questions in different ways. So that the child is not really consciously, it should be a very unconscious answer or very naturally innate answer should be there. So they ask questions in different ways, meaning different things. So what happens is it takes a lot of time for you to evaluate. They would say come after 2 days. But because of computers today, you answer it and your reports are ready. Right? And this has been there last 7-10 years, at least popular enough. So these are the psychometric assessments and it is not at all a rocket science.
So psychometric assessment, just to understand, they assess your inclinations, your attitudes, personality, and
interest.
Then it also does it also look at your logical ability, your reasoning, your ability to reason.
Correct. You're right.
They do that.
Absolutely. You're right. So they assess your aptitude first. And they find what is the right aptitude for you.
Right.
They assess your personality and they will tell what is your personality. Fundamentally, where do you incline? Third one, they assess your interest. And they filter down your interests. Now they assessed your aptitude, your personality, your interest.
Now they try to map
everything and see permutations and combinations. And then from the 21 odd career clusters we have, how can we shortlist those career options and show top 5, 10 for you? Right? It's fundamentally an elimination strategy. You're trying to eliminate the careers that, okay, I'll ask you a simple question, right? Now, how do we go about this? A child comes and tells me, sir, I'm really interested in being an automobile engineer. I love to be an automobile engineer. I ask you why. He says, I'm interested in it. In API, he says he's interested in automobile engineering. And now, let's assess. Now I assess him. When I assess him, his aptitude says his mechanical orientation and numerical orientation or mechanical and numerical scores are pretty low. How as a teacher can you recommend him to do that? What will he do in the college after he gets in? He's got 3 on 9 or 3 on 10 in mathematics. This is a very grade 9, 10 CBSE mathematics. Now, his scores are pretty low there. Now, 3 on 10 were the basic questions that are being asked. Now, there's a follow-up question that comes from a few parents. Let him do hard work. Let him study morning and night. A certain things should come naturally. Now, putting additional effort and learning, if the child is not serious about studies, that is a different case. But even after putting a lot of efforts, if that's not happening to him, the skill sets are fundamentally different. Beyond a point, you can't pressurize a child. Even after he's taking enough genuine efforts, if it's not happening, that is a very clear, short understanding. His skill sets are fundamentally different. We need to understand that. So I can't tell this particular child, beta, chalo, do hard work and somehow pass 11th and 12th with 60% and somehow get into an engineering college through CET and start your automobile engineering. It is not going to work like that. This I will connect to. In India, I understand this called a prefix plus suffix syndrome. What is this? You imagine something like this. Underline plus underline is equal to a long underline. Okay. The first underline is what you want. The second underline is engineering.
Okay.
You tie it with a rope, with a chain, and you lock it. That can't change in India. You're interested in automobiles, you be an automobile engineer. You are interested in biology and technology, then you become biotechnology engineer. You're interested in aircrafts, you become aeronautical engineer. Whatever your interest goes to the prefix.
Yeah.
What? Engineering is an aptitude. Let's understand that. So when I assessed this particular child who wanted to be an automobile engineer, he had crazy passion for cars. You speak anything about cars, you can speak about it. A lot of children are there. But now, understand in detail. I told him, how is your physics and mathematics? No, sir, it doesn't come well to me. I'm really struggling with this. How are you going to do your engineering and automobile? You need to read about petrol engines. You need to study about diesel engines, the gearboxes. There's so much science behind it. As I was talking about science, he was getting
a little intimidated.
No, sir, that's not what I want to do. Then that is what automobile engineering is all about. No, sir, I'm talking about how will the car look like, the space inside the car, the functionalities inside the car. Then I was taking better. You have to remove that engineering. Let the automobile stay. You need to flip engineering to design.
Probably.
Now the awareness comes. There is automobile engineering, automobile design. Automobile journalism, automobile production, automobile sales, automobile what? So your prefix is always interest, your suffix is always aptitude. But in India, we don't change the aptitude part of it. Whatever is your interest, we put it as prefix, and engineering is tied, locked.
Amazing. I mean, it's so well explained. I think it really clarifies so many things.
Exactly.
And all the careers that we just spoke of and the psychometric testing, all these wonderful things that you just mentioned, they still talk about the urban audience. Now there are children in government schools coming from rural backgrounds. Most of them want to move to cities. That's the aspiration. But are there career options for children, or are there career options where students or parents can say, okay, I want to do something that helps uplift the rural India? Is there anything around that? I mean, or how do children from villages or hinterlands of India, how do they come into the career bracket?
Very nice question. See, in today's time, we're very happy that any child across the country can write any entrance exams they want. Even if I'm from the rural background, I can write IIT. Even if I'm from the rural background, I can write CET. Right. And children who are able to crack through, they're able to study well, they're able to really do well in academics. They somehow make it a point that they come to an urban background and they start a regular career. We've also seen an auto rickshaw man's son is being a software engineer, somebody. There are good stories like that as well. But fundamentally, when you go to the job market, what we need to understand is, imagine, I will tell you with an example. Take Hyundai, for example. What do? They make cars, right? Hyundai needs a senior automobile engineer, a mechanical engineer, electrical engineer. We need, because they make cars, Now, once they design their circuit, once they design their engine, once they make the thing, who do you really need to produce them? You would see people from the rural background who come and make the car. They put hands on, they literally make the car. You talk about a civil engineer, there are people who make the building. You talk about a software engineer, you see people who do simply testing, or people who do basics of coding, or people. There are, for every profession, there are helping hands that are the subsidiary professions that are going to connect at any cost. Right. Without a second thought, right? So people do come up there. Why not? People start from there. Probably they did not get an opportunity during the school or college to actually open up themselves and become an engineer directly. They might have done diploma studies. They might have done. They might have gone to ITI. They might have done anything little basic than a core engineering career. But through that as well, I personally know a lot of people who have just done diploma in something in extremely good professions and positions today. across the places. That can just be an entry level. So fundamental answer is, for any profession that's up there, probably an engineer, a doctor, a lawyer, the senior guy, there are subsidizing professions that is required to make or prepare or execute that project. All these professions fundamentally come in. So now, while you assess the child on aptitude, personality, and interest, it is no different. See, I am from a rural background. If I'm good in physics and math, I am good in physics and math.
Right.
I am studying in a very well-known school in Bangalore, Chennai. I am good in physics and math. I'm good in physics and math. How does it differ? So what the child is good at, what their aptitude, personality, and interest, while you assess the child, there are no two different assessments.
Okay.
Probably because of the economical well-being, or by the opportunity or the exposure the parent may have or the child may have.
Maybe limited.
They end up choosing careers they know at that point of time. But I know a lot of companies that they go to rural areas. I know a very popular company called iDream Career. They go to the rural area. They get funded by CSR activities. They help a lot of children in the third tier cities, fourth tier cities. They help them understand what they want, and they recommend careers based on the locality or what they will be able to afford and things like that. So careers are there for everybody. Somebody designs a project, somebody executes the project. Most of rural India fundamentally is a part of executing the project.
Right.
The little physically making the product, they are all being placed for.
Right.
But the assessment patterns or the child's knowledge skill is no way differently assessed for a urban child and a rural child. The assessments are always.
Yeah. So then the question is probably the access. Do they have access to these resources? And that I think is a very different
question
altogether.
I don't think there is a lot of access unless and until a lot of
that's where they get left behind.
And
only
I know a lot of corporate companies do a lot of CSR activities for this, but that is also limited.
It's very limited.
Maybe if some government official is seeing this video, that could be as a teacher, I would say that could be a kind request that make career guidance mandatory for rural India as well. Right. Our new education policy, NEP, talks about career guidance in school today.
And also vocational emphasis.
Vocational emphasis has really come in really well. I appreciate that. That's a huge leap. I really appreciate that move. But the rural India should also be supported a little more.
More, of course.
A little more upliftment. A lot more. A little more upliftment. At least started today. A little bit of this LEAP framework that I told is a very simple framework and can be implemented anywhere. If that can happen, that sector of people who deserves guidance can also come up to life.
One of the careers that is now getting a lot of attention and should get a lot of attention is sports. A lot of parents want their children to become cricketers, and especially cricketers. But there are a lot of parents who also push their children to, based on their interest, into badminton and related careers. Now, becoming a national champion is a far way out. The competition is too heavy and too steep, and it's extremely expensive. So, if a child doesn't get selected in national teams, which has limited seats and limited positions, what can children do within sports? Like what kind of career options are available in areas like, say, physical education and sports?
So sports, we understand the player on the ground, right? That's what we most of the time see. Now, there's also a question that we need to place to the child. Would you like to be around sports or would you like to be in sports? Isn't it a question?
Right.
Would you like to be in sports or around sports? But 9 out of 10 children say, I want to be in sports. Right? Now, the follow-up question to the child is better, because how many do you need in an Indian cricket team?
Exactly.
There are a few, right? If you get into it, as a teacher, I'm very proud. I'm going to tell my world that I'm a student. That is fine, great. But what if you don't? Right? Now, there is 1% of luck factor, 99% of whatever other factors, your hard work or whatever it is, right? So now, keeping this in mind, are you ready to be around sports? My next follow-up question is this. You're not able to be in sports. Are you ready to be around sports? If the child says yes, what kind of sports can you be around? You can be in business of sports. Okay. Who owns Decathlon? Right? How about you be a part of Decathlon? And or would you like to be a teacher teaching sports? Would you like to be a sports coach? Right? Can you do sports therapy? Okay. Can you work for hospitals? Be a part of sports therapy, sports psychology? Okay.
Absolutely.
Sports making, manufacturing sports goods and all of that. Would you like to be a salesperson in sports or marketing guy in sports? So these are options that can fundamentally open up if you want to be around sports.
Yeah.
But what you must be ready to accept as well along with it is, it may take some time for you to really have your financial, stability. It may not start great. If you're an entrepreneur in sports, that's a different game. That's about your entrepreneurship and how fast you become something and all of that.
Yeah.
But if you get into sports, okay, you take decathlon, except the CEO or the very senior people, what could be the pay scale for everybody else working there? It could be as equal as an engineer, moderator, a little lesser. That way, how many percentage of people who are interested in sports can actually get in? So this is a choice of question that you need to make and be.
Yeah.
Now, what the last option is, how can you be around sports and not being in sports? Then that is when the psychometric test would tell you sports can be a great option. If not sports, what is my next better option, third better option? If you say you want to be in commerce, you want to run your business, you can do. But evening, you can still be a sports person. Right. Now, there was one child who came and told me once upon a time, about 3 years back. So for me, I want to play sports. Irrespective, I go to my Indian cricket team. I want to play sports. I love to play sports. Then you can still play sports and get into a profession that keeps your overall stability on.
Yeah.
He simply took that choice. He has done his BBA. He's a fintech engineer. He also learned technology later. He's working for a good bank, very popular bank in the country today, and he's playing sports happily.
Yeah.
Wherever there's a competition, he participates.
Also,
exactly.
There are teams now.
You go ahead and do it, right? Now, the simple question is, would you like to be in sports, be around sports?
Yeah.
If you want to be in sports or around sports, how much time do you have to really wait
the
for
investment?
Investment you're ready to give? And that should decide how much time you're going to give.
Right.
There are very, very well-to-do parents who come and say, I don't mind about his financial well-being right away. Things are taken care. Let him do what he wants. That's a different case, right? So it's very case-to-case basis.
Yeah.
So I love sports and people who want to do sports. Great thing.
Yeah.
But like you said, if you're not really up there in the nationals and all of that as early as 13 and 14, you need to take a very conscious call.
Yeah.
If you're already 13, 14, you have gone to all the national, all the state level, you're really being projected and there is a recognition is there, you will be able to, you must have watched Dhoni movie.
Yeah.
Dhoni was working in railway department for some time. Why? Because until you get that opportunity to play in the Indian cricket team, you need to take care of your living.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't that an important thing?
Correct.
So I know this will bring things upon me by saying this, not supporting the child's 100%. As I'm saying, we need to balance is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You need to balance.
As long as age is on your side.
Age is on your side. That's a nice way to put it. As far as the age is on your side.
Because age is a big factor. And for example, by 13 or 14, if you're not already there, halfway there, it's very difficult to start at 13 and say, now I'll look at a career in sport. It's going. A lot of children are deluded actually.
Correct.
They have this delusion that I will take up sports at some point, but I don't wake up in the morning, I don't run, I exercise.
It's a fantasy.
It's really fantasy. I think this is good advice to parents as well,
right?
Because there are a lot of parents today who want their children to be sports people.
Right.
And most of them aspire to be in the national team.
Exactly.
You know? So what key point or piece of advice would you give parents is in this regard? Like, what is that one thing you want the parents to keep in mind if they have children who are very deeply interested in sport?
So, a couple of things. Checklist number 1. Has your child already gone through state and national quotas? Has achieved many awards, or you're able to see a pathway in next 5 years he can play for India or anything that can actually become his core income? If you're able to see your child is one of the top 100s, 500s in the entire country, the possibility is very high.
Right.
That's the first checkbox. Second checkbox, that age should be on your side.
Right.
You will be able to sacrifice 2, 3, 4 years to practice that and ensure, because you're already in the top 500, you'll be able to push yourself to get into it. If you see that possibility, be there. Otherwise, I advise you to be around sports, not in sports.
Okay. I think that's very sound advice.
So that's a sound advice.
Yeah.
By this, I'm not saying a child should not be paid. I'm saying that's an amazing profession. You need to be, we are all going to be proud as you children getting into it. But there is, you need to be matured I am not able to find a better word.
Right.
You should be matured while you take this decision. The same thing applies when you're speaking about sports, and same thing applies for applied arts, music, or luckily people who are really good in art, that's literally drawing. Along with that, if you have a problem solving skill and logical analysis, and you can get into design. Right. But when you are in music, when you are in dance, when you are in theater and all of that, again, the way how we are talking about a child can get into the Indian cricket team, I'm talking about a student who is good in drama, is good in music. How much can be in Hollywood, in Bollywood or Collywood or Tollywood? That could be a certain percentage. But if you're able to see a vision, you're able to see that you've already cracked through a couple of layers. You are able to see the vision. For those parents, no problem. Take the risk, take the possibility, go ahead. But if the age is not on your side, and if you're not already there to an extent, then balance your career. Keep this as your evening career and morning. Simply Dhoni is an example. Okay, so Dhoni never stopped playing even when he was working for railways. Right. So keep that balance Continue playing. And if life
continue practicing your craft.
Exactly.
You don't know when you will be
able to. And you're able to see that small opportunity that's giving you a spark again at some point of light. Then pick it up. But until then, you need to balance. Now, my worry is if you don't do this, the child is practicing to learn a skill so much, and he never gets an opportunity.
Denial.
Denials will come into picture.
No, I have to. I will get it.
Exactly.
Into it
and that may also turn off to be an emotionally deprived difficult children, and it'll be pretty difficult for us to pull them up. So it's a grace that the child also should accept this. It's not just the parent side. The parent can be a great advisor, hand-holding person, but the child on the other side should also gracefully accept what they're trying to say and not consider, visualize, imagine that they are trying to pull me out for what I'm interested from. Right? The idea is not that.
I think one of the things, like you said earlier, is exposing them early. When the child is already interested, then what are the ancillary professions or vocations around that particular key vocation or profession or whatever. Then they know that, okay, if I can't do the main thing, I can still associate myself in the field, keep myself in the field. And that sometimes is that's also very fulfilling.
Absolutely right.
Sometimes that may be more fulfilling than the actual profession itself.
Correct.
You mentioned that worldwide there are these 21 vocational or professional clusters. Would you mind sharing that list?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So they are clusters, not careers. So under every career cluster, there are career options. That is how it ends up to have 600 different career options. Probably I've written it down for you. So the 21 career clusters include agriculture and food sciences, medical sciences, allied and paramedical sciences, fitness and well-being, engineering and technology, architecture and planning, science and mathematics, legal services, business management, sales and marketing, finance and banking, humanities, liberal arts and social sciences, education and teaching, mass communication, journalism, performing arts, art and design, animation, graphics, visual communication, hospitality, tourism and transport services, government and defense services. These could be more or less. Now, even a new profession comes into, it will fall in these 21 categories because that will be just an update of what these 21 career clusters are. Right. In this, you will also see engineering and technology is there. Information technology, I've given it as 2 different career clusters because it's a very huge industry by itself today. So certain career cluster, we need to see it independently from that of the parent cluster itself. So any of the 600 career clusters fundamentally falls under this 21 different career clusters.
Now I'm curious simply because I'm a teacher. I went to this session where I spoke with 10th grade children. It was just an invitation to talk to them about what they want to do, how to prepare for. So one of the questions I happened to ask was, how many of you want to become teachers? There's not a single hand up. There is another friend who does a lot of career exposure for children in schools. So I asked him, do you get people who ask you questions about what does it take to become a teacher? Somehow I feel that all the leftovers, like people who have not been able to do anything else, they come and start teaching. I mean, and this is a fact. It may sound terrible, but that's the truth. So what is your take on this, and how do we change this? We need teachers.
One profession that makes all the professions, isn't it?
Agreed. And it is the least valued.
I see a couple of reasons why. could be one or two of them are my opinion.
Yeah.
One of two of them. Let's discuss this.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
say one is a child at that age when they're going to the school, they're literally being monitored, controlled, advised. Everything is by that profession.
Yeah.
So there is an aversion, or there is something called as no, that is not the person I wanted to be.
Yeah, I don't want to be a teacher.
I want to be a teacher. That could be a reason. That's my just observation. Why should a child say that when they can say everything is because day in and day out they are questioned, asked, in it.
Yeah.
So no, not this.
Yeah.
Could be a reason.
Yeah.
Now, why not children learn this when they grow up? Probably the answer could be how respected the profession. I respect teaching like anything.
Like in Finland, the teacher is as good as the doctor.
So true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's how hard it is to
be a teacher. Yeah. Because they've made it being a teacher also is being difficult. So you be a teacher, you're somebody, boss.
Yeah.
You're somebody to be a teacher.
Yeah.
So probably that. And third, I wouldn't say everything is on the government or something. Because people who choose teaching also doesn't really come from, I want to be a teacher. Let me be a teacher because I'm having some time.
Yeah.
Right. That also, because how can a half-cooked engineer really be a good engineer once he goes to engineering? Right. If any work for that matter, you can't do it for the sake of doing. Right. You should do it with full intent, full interest, full glory for you to be successful with whatever you do.
Yeah.
And pay scales could be one reason.
Yeah. Economics is one big reason.
One big reason.
Yeah.
This is one. That fifth one is awareness. What does it mean? Because if you go and talk about education and teaching to a child, they think about a school teacher or a college teacher alone. You can be a corporate trainer. Okay.
Yeah. You
can be a corporate trainer. You can teach yoga.
Right.
Right. You can be a teacher. You can
like
teach,
a sports teacher is also a teacher. I mean, but I think then there is a downward cascade about the quality of programs that help in becoming
a teacher.
Yeah. So those are not really. Most of the time, I have a master's or a doctorate in engineering, so I am a professor in an engineering college. But teaching itself, the art of teaching, is also something.
It's very difficult. In fact, you have. Sorry to interrupt. There are about 40, 50, 60 kids at school, or 20, even 20. Every child is different. And the one person who can understand and modulate the 20, it is a craft.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. You need to be somebody to be a teacher.
My word. Absolutely.
Right? So there is no second thought of that.
Yeah.
And probably exposure is one area. Yeah. Probably when you tell a child, teaching is not just teaching at school or college. You can teach anything you want. You be a corporate trainer. Yeah. You can teach yoga to somebody tomorrow. You can be teaching cooking to somebody tomorrow. There are a lot of professions within teaching of what you can do.
Right.
So have you seen business coaches?
Okay. Yeah.
They make 6-digit, 8-digit, 9-digit income.
Yes.
They're coaches. Who is a coach? Definitely a teacher. The teacher is seen as a coach as well. So how do you transform the knowledge that you have into somebody else, a younger crowd of yours, or who is wanting to learn from you? Is a teacher. In our Indian society, we have been calling guru as a third part of it, and it's where you learn everything. It's all about these 4 or 5 aspects which makes a child not
also the image that particular profession has in that country or in that region. I think that plays an important role.
So true.
What you talked about is very important. Yeah. Like when people say this is what you should do, or societal pressure, peer pressure, parental pressure, everything leads a child to take a decision, for example, to do engineering, and then they do it. And then they get into jobs, which is what everybody wants, like settle down. That's the idea of success in many of our heads. The problem is when you choose something that you have not consciously or not scientifically decided or not rationalized and then chosen, we see that a huge number of people in different industries move their careers. They shift. At least once in their lifetime, they make a movement from what they're actually doing to what they want to do. I mean, you're a good example. You just mentioned that you are an architect by qualification, but look at what you're doing. Exactly. And on the other hand, I am somebody who always wanted to be a teacher and I'm still doing it. What's the difference here? How is it that some people can make a choice that is actually a choice that builds their life? And what do you make of it? This trend of shifting jobs and shifting careers midway. Sometimes at the age of 40, people change. So,
right. See, shifting jobs, shifting professions, I don't see it as negative thing.
No, it's not.
It may be a positive thing as well. Yeah. But depends on situation to situation, right? Now, You took a career or you took a career option when you got into a university and you were not able to enjoy it, you're not able to perform well in it. You went to a job, you got a job, you're not able to see your performance is great. And now you realize that you took a wrong choice and you want to change is a negative scenario. Because while you took the right when you took a particular degree or you chose a particular degree in your college, you didn't think much about it. And because of which you're not able to perform, because of which you're not able to perform at your workplace, because of which you wanted to give a career shift, right? I've seen a lot of students who come back and tell me, so you actually told me not to take engineering. I took engineering. I work in so-and-so company, not really doing well. I think I better fit to be an entrepreneur. I can start my own business or I can run. I'm a people person. I can coordinate with people, get great things done. So these things come later into their mind, which is a situation that we could have avoided. But on the other hand, people might change a career or shift a career very consciously because now AI is becoming big. A mechanical engineer could think AI is becoming really big. I'm already understand machines. Maybe if I learn AI along with it, I may get better opportunities. So I'm going to learn computer science ahead, and they do it as another way to look at it.
Yeah.
Right. So it is important, like you said, in the very beginning, when the child is around 14, 15 years of age, it is important to sort out this differences of what career you need to pick pretty early. Right? Engineering is not the end of the world. Engineering is great, medicine is great, but not God. This is something every parent has to instill in their mind. There are options, there are careers that for example, take careers in design. Right? Design is a career that was not even looked up to 15 years back. Today, IIT Mumbai has design with it. Right? There are at least 30, 35 design schools today. Science student can take up design. Design is science too, right? Correct. Because now people relate design to some sort of art and they don't want to consider how am I going to tell my family that my child is good in drawing. No, but that is one of the skills that is looked up to today. Right? So definitely awareness can solve in a big way. Children and parents knowing what career options are there right from the school time and practically assessing it in the very early stage can potentially give an opportunity for them to know what is there and how to choose.
Right.
This will definitely, if this comes in, the proportions between what different careers people choose will definitely change. But that definitely starts from school.
Right. It brings me to another question. Somehow I'm getting the sense that you're saying that it's okay for people to choose engineering. Is that what you're saying? Because, okay, I was once at a gathering where this was an MBA school, and I had to do a session there on critical thinking. Some 200, 250 young people. I asked them, what did you all do before you took up MBA? All of them said they did engineering. And now engineering and then MBA. And then what will you do? No, we are looking at work in banking and mutual fund offices. To me, why would I waste time? In India, engineering, medicine, these are not cheap choices. It takes a lot of money. It's a huge financial obligation on families to get their children through engineering colleges or medical colleges or even any other MBA colleges for that matter. My commonsensical question is, why should I waste time doing this if I know I'm not going to do this ahead in my life? I'm only doing it to say, look, parents, I did what you asked me to do. Now let me do what I want to do. Correct. So how do families, children juggle with this kind of choices?
Yeah, your question itself had a bit of answer in it, right? So the child and the parent, when they were pretty young, they didn't really know that they're going to come out of engineering itself is the first point, right? Because how do I know that I'm going to change if I know that I'm going to change my career after I do my engineering, probably many students take their feedback. But how do they know they're going to change? They don't know. They feel, they consider that they're taking the best choice.
Right.
The problem comes there. That's when I meant, how do I solve this equation issue is when the school does the job right. The school must be simply able to say, beta, you can do engineering, you can't do engineering. It starts there, right? How do you ensure students take up the right path based on their APIO? APIO is aptitude, personality, interest, opportunity. Right. Based on their APIO is simply when the school is able to tell them, take up engineering, not take up engineering. Without engineers, we don't have this mic and this light. They definitely need them as well.
Right.
But not everybody is fit out to do that. That's the point, right? Who should say the child? It's something that you can actually pick. It's something you can't pick.
Right.
Where does it come from? That simply come from the school scenario, the teachers, the principal who observes and tell them you can pick it up or not.
One last question. Besides academic acumen, skills,
Mm.
aptitude,
Mm.
what do you think are what are the 5 main qualities or characteristics you think a person should have to be successful in whatever career they choose?
Right. So I will tell this in the 21st century context or
Okay.
in today's context, right? So definitely every 10 years, I see there is a change in the adaptation of your mindset to be successful in your career. I still remember 15 years back, you do a degree, that's a great thing. And you have a master's, that's a double great thing. You have an MBA, you're equivalent to God, nothing less than that. So now, no, I do appreciate it. But I'd say once you learn a skill, the skill was utilized for next a decade. Until a new technology or new invention or new learning has taken place. But in today's time, learning is a part or a learning is a daily affair. You need to be ready to learn. By the time you learn something, there is a queue standing outside your door asking that also to be learned. You can't stop learning in today's time.
Right.
As a career counselor, I need to know what are the next 10 careers coming in. Is it enough I get a career counseling certificate and I keep not enough?
No.
Right? You being a teacher now, what happened when COVID really came into our lives? The doctors, did they really know how to treat on the first day when the COVID was announced?
No, of course not.
You need to go to a research and understand learning happened there. You learn about AI today, is it over there? No, you're going to learn something else. You especially talk to software engineers, they tell it's overwhelming. By the time you learn something new, there is something else
New
on the line.
that has come up
The
already.
first thing for you to be successful in your career in today's time,
the ability to unlearn and learn.
Unlearn and learn. That is extremely, you're not ready to do that. Sorry, sir, I'm not ready. In fact, sometimes I used to, there were other CEOs I used to speak to sometimes when they're talking about corporate employment and all of that. At least half day in your own office, give your employees time to learn something new, right? Maybe Friday, 3 hours before they leave home. Tell them what's coming up. What is that they're supposed to know? What is this company looking for in the next half a decade? What kind of skills are you looking for? If you'll also be able to train them and mentor them. This is one thing. Learning, unlearning, continuous exploration is one important.
Right.
Next is flexibility. Flexibility is ability to shift or ability to move on to a profession that is more demanding, which may be more connected, is number 2. Third, dual skills or multiple skills is required. That is one way how your companies are going to filter you for your employment today. Because AI is taking up a certain amount of tasks, if not everything. Definitely it's taking a certain amount of tasks by people. So the companies would see, when I will be able to do XYZ work through AI, what can I expect from this person? And if the person says, if XYZ is taken care by somebody, I'm good at A, B, and C, right? So I just can't be a career counselor at school. I should be a good teacher. I should be a good administrator.
Right.
If I give this three skills for the school that I work at, probably I have an opportunity to do something. You're a software engineer. Can you be a good manager as well, a software engineer as well? Can you also know a bit of law? Probably you can help the company when it is going to a legal issue. I'm just randomly connecting, but I'm saying, can more than 1-2 skills?
What is required?
At that particular time, that would also make you stay. I think fundamentally these 3 for you to really be, this is a 21st century need, I would say current. And whatever the World Economic Forum say, collaboration, creativity, teamwork. This is a little boring because everybody speaks about this.
Everybody's right, it's cliche.
But
they're important.
They're important. I don't deny it at all. I literally respect that.
Collaboration, for example. Correct. A lot of Indian people, when they move into workforce, struggle because they're very good at learning on their own. Absolutely. And they get 90% and 100%. But when they come in, especially in MNCs, where you are noticed for being a team player and being creative in your ideas.
Absolutely. So
those don't, those come from foreigners.
Those come from foreigners. And I do agree it's playing a major role. Like you say, it's a little cliche. I do agree it is required. But going very deep into it and seeing logically what is required, being flexible, learning more than one skill.
Absolutely.
and unlearning.
Yeah, and
This is
learning
very
from everybody, learning from people around you.
Even from your
Because
junior.
Yeah,
of course,
absolutely,
that's,
absolutely.
That adds up a lot of.
Absolutely. And I think that applies to every single profession, including teaching.
Correct.
Yeah, just because I'm a teacher doesn't mean I know everything, which is sadly the attitude a lot
So
of
true.
educators
So
carry.
true. Sure.
So I think to be humble and say, no, this is what I don't know, I need to learn
You need to learn more.
about it, I think will go a long way in becoming successful people and
Correct.
having successful
So true.
careers.
Absolutely,
I think.
yes. Absolutely.
Thank you, Ajay, for that amazingly candid I learned a lot about careers today. Let me tell you that. And it has been absolute pleasure talking to you about what is out there, what should children look for, what should parents look for, and what should schools prepare. How should school prepare themselves? Thank you very much for being here, and I really look forward to a long association with you.
Thank you so much. It
Thank
was
you
a
so much.
wonderful discussion
Thank
as
you.
well,
Thank
and discuss with a senior teacher like you, and where everything starts, I would say. So a lot of children under you are also under the 15-year bracket of what they should decide for themselves.
My students are teachers, by the way.
I can get that.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Thank you for the opportunity from Yellow Slate also to be a part of
Thank
this.
you.
I
Thank
really
you for
enjoyed
being
this.
here.